I'll do the donk.
Like
Just
we
brother and sister
I will
hang out.
follow Club Donk.
Yeah, chatting about media. Lol.
No!
Donk.
Report!
Tell you.
Okay, here we are, Harry Potter 5, the Altar of the Panics. This was quite a big one for me too, actually, because like, I guess it was like the, I remember it coming out, and I was still young enough to care about it. Kind of the 6th and 7th ones, I was kind of like late teens and shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Actually, before we start talking about the 5th one,
okay.
did you have anything you wanted to catch up on about the 4th one?
What do you mean?
Are you done with that?
What do you mean?
Or like anything you didn't say in the last one that you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so. Oh, we didn't talk about how much I love the tent at the World Cup, I don't think.
The what?
But I love the tent at the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
That's all.
It later becomes the tent, the Voldemort hunting tent.
Yeah, the sad tent. Yeah, no.
I kind of like forgot to talk about how I was like quite shocked about the whole thing with like Barty Crump Jr. killing his dad, and like how he's like stuck in the house all those years under the whatever curse, Imperious curse. And
that's
like they kind of just glossed over all of that. Like no one really seems to care that Barty Crouch died.
Yeah, or that he was like performing an illegal curse on his son for like a decade or whatever.
Yeah, and he's just like, I turned the body into a bone and buried it in Hagrid's backyard, and they're like, all right.
Okay, well, whatever, let's move on.
Okay, that's settled then.
But as he as well, I guess that really implies that like murdering someone in the wizarding world would be way easier if you can just like transfigure the body into something else.
Yeah, and it would take like a real genius like Dumbledore to figure it out.
Yeah, well, you'd have to like, find it and know what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Dumbledore talks about you can feel powerful magic, even if you could feel it, but it takes you to like a dump. Like
somewhere in here, there's somebody turned into some other kind of thing. You're like, Accio, dead body. There's like 50 dead bodies like
come and take you out.
I think they probably get a lot of people with the truth serum.
Yeah, right. I guess that's another thing that makes like police work a lot easier in their world, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, couldn't they just do some shit that's like, you know, like Accio perpetrator or something?
That's too broad.
It's what?
Too broad. Perpetrator of what?
Well, this specific crime. But like, it's always like that. Like Harry's like Accio Fireball, and it's just some greater consciousness knows that he's talking about his fireball.
No, but that's like connected to his, like he has to be thinking about his firebolt when he does it, right? But if if you don't know who the murderer is or whatever, the perpetrator, you know, it's like when Harry's trying to get into the room of requirement, but because he doesn't know what he needs to be thinking of, it won't let him in, you know?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
All right. You got me. As you know, we've been consuming a lot of Harry Potter memes and reels.
Yeah.
Which has really taken me off the track of the actual story.
I know. I really have been like pulled out of the books and like the like kind of cohesive nature of the books.
Some of them do raise some good points about like subtle stuff that happens in the plot though.
Yeah, I think some people clearly have spent a really
decades
long amount of time thinking about Harry Potter all the time, you know?
Yeah, well, and because like media is like profitable now, there's like a lot of people like if you do one popular Harry Potter post, that could like trigger you into being a Harry Potter content maker, which is fucking crazy.
Well, it's crazy some of the shit that now like Instagram is showing me. Like people who have like whole rooms dedicated to like
memorabilia.
Yeah, and like every single edition of all the books. So they've got like 12 editions of all the books because it's a different cover. And I'm just like, that's mad.
I'm not about that life.
I'm not that like a merch guy. That's crazy.
Did you see that one though where like someone like recreated the Hogwarts Great Hall ceiling in their living room?
Oh, that's pretty cute. No, I didn't see that.
That kind of thing I can kind of get behind because it's not like, you know, the stuff that I really don't like about the merch you can get is like that it's like just merch of the product of the movie. Like it's merch of the branding of the movie. It's not like immersive. It's not like something that you can like feel like you're part of the magic, you know?
Yeah, when it's just like money making shit, you know? It's like, oh, here's like, do you want to own every single character from the movie's wand? And it's like, no, I don't.
No, I want my wand. I want my own wand.
You probably can get that, you know, like you do that
custom ordered wand.
Yeah, and they send you your one. I haven't looked into it. Yeah, it's funny, like the things that I wanted from after reading the books, I was like gonna buy a quill. I was like, I want a fucking quill.
Yeah, I wanted like a hoodie, but not like that of the Harry Potter movie. I wanted like a hoodie that someone would wear at Hogwarts, you know, like a Hogwarts. You can get one that's like says Gryffindor in like the American university kind of style. And I was that's nah. Like I want like one that's like actually Ravenclaw official merch or something.
Like when you go to school and you get your leavers hoodie.
Yeah. But like I could even like go so far as like it's almost like a cloak, but like branded. Like but yeah, not movie branded. But the other thing I was going to say too was like, I think we touched on this maybe, but like the houses system is so biased. I think we were just talking about the Gryffindor Slytherin thing. Like the Gryffindors like so obviously the good guys. And then Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff kind of like, pretty much good guys. And then Slytherin's like the bad guys.
Yeah.
But like one thing is like, they always say that in the history, like Slytherin's thing is he only wants purebloods, and that's like the theme of Slytherin. But then they've got these traits too that are about being like cunning and like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, which is it? It's not really clear. Like they say two different things in two different contexts. But also the thing I really wanted to say was that like Hufflepuff's theme is everyone else.
I know. It's so funny. I was just thinking that because they talk about when they make all the houses and Slytherin is like, I want the purebloods. And then Gryffindor is like the brave, Ravenclaw's the smart, and Hufflepuff's like, I'll take the rest. Whoever is none of that shit.
I can't get behind that.
Nah. It's weird as well that she didn't write it to be like, here's these 4 distinct traits, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's 3 with traits.
And other.
Yeah, and it's like...
None of the above.
Yeah, but I know what you mean, because then later in like one of the Sorting Hat songs or whatever, it's like, oh, the Hufflepuffs are kind and fair. And it's like, well, is it everyone else or is it the people who are kind and fair?
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with Slytherin. Like, it's like, is it the purebloods or is it the cunning and like go-getting people?
Yeah, because then it's not later the purebloods, you know, like
yeah, because
purebloods, like Voldemort and Snape aren't purebloods.
No, but apparently half-blood is close enough. It's like better than Muggleborn or whatever.
Yeah, there's gotta be like, I don't know.
Also, Gryffindor made the Sorting Hat, which is like kind of suspicious too. Like the Sorting Hat seems to kind of like know everything about you.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's the Sorting Hat who decides who is best for each house. But it's like the Sorting Hat's probably not quite as racist as Slytherin. So like, it's like, I don't know, like, I don't know. Whatever. I can handle it, but it's like not ideal.
Yeah, doesn't Dumbledore say like, I think we should leave the sorting till later?
He says it, he says it to Snape in the 7th one or whatever, or like in a flashback in the 7th one, because he's like implying maybe Snape should have actually been in Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Just rebranded. Sliver Slate. He got sorted too. Anyway.
Okay.
Shut up. Shut up, Slate. So weird. Okay. Whew.
Okay.
Let's actually talk about the book now.
Start.
So key themes seem to be Harry being angry and being semi-possessed by Voldemort half the time.
Yeah, and like just isolated, you know, by people being like taken away from him, or him being like, I'm not talking to you, I hate you.
Yeah, he's really isolated. He's even isolated from Dumbledore, and he can't talk to like Sirius and shit.
Yeah, and like, all the shit at the school is like, there's no one there to like talk to for him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he can't go like visit Hagrid and stuff, and like there's no like free movement. So he's just like sad and alone and really angry.
Bureaucracy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I just like kind of hated reading this one, you know?
I didn't hate it as much as you. I think you're kind of sensitive to something in it.
I'm sensitive to like that like excessive wielding of power for like controlling you, you know?
Yeah.
Like rules that don't mean anything.
Yeah. Same. I felt that. I had the flashbacks to being at school and getting in trouble and it not being fair.
Yeah, just like that real unfairness of it, where you're like, there's no fucking like reason to this, you know? Like, this isn't fair.
Yeah, and because Harry's like too proud to say that it's unfair or tell anyone about it, and it's like he's too proud to kind of go and try and talk to Dumbledore, because he knows Dumbledore's like distancing himself and shit. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like not effective to be proud like that. It's like, just get it together.
When like he's being like tortured by his teacher, like maimed, and he's like, I'm not telling anyone, I'm not talking about it. It's like, just kind of painful.
Yeah, I think that could have been a little bit more artfully done. Like, she could have kind of like leveraged the fact that no one believes him and shit a little bit more, or like made it a little bit more like convincing that he wouldn't tell anyone. Because like, and it just plays off like he's being stubborn.
Yeah, and just like dumb and proud, you know, like
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's like, I want to be in Gryffindor because it's like the main character house.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about that. I mean, like, we obviously both got Ravenclaw on the test, but like, I think I probably would like to go in Ravenclaw. Man, at the end when they like, finally go to the Ravenclaw room, and it's fucking sick. It's like the coolest room in the whole castle.
Yeah, I know. That or Hufflepuff, like, if you're taking Hufflepuff to be like fair and kind, that would also be a house I'd want to be in, you know?
Nah.
But I don't want to be in it because it's like the rejects, you know?
I reckon like Ravenclaw's like the people who would actually go into like the depths of like the mechanics of magic and like how it works and what the history is, and like actually understand and explore magic in like an occult sense. And the other ones are just kind of like doing stupid human world shit with a bit of magic, you know?
Yeah, like Luna and her dad, who are like weird
conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, lol. So
yeah, I really remembered Harry being angry at the beginning, and I kind of thought he was just angry because he was like having puberty or something.
Yeah.
And because no one's talking to him and he's like frustrated and shit. But then it turns out that it's also because he's like the connection with Voldemort is opening up.
Yeah. Yeah,
which actually
it lessens after a while, you know, like once I feel like in the book, once he starts realizing that he's like feeling his emotions a bit, it's less like he's attacking Ron and Hermione all the time.
Yeah.
And he's like aware of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Is this like the first one that Luna's properly in?
I think so, because they just introduce her on the train or whatever, and then she can like see the thestrals and shit.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out though, actually, that the horses are still pulled by nothing at the end of the fourth one.
Yeah, right.
After he's seen Cedric die.
Also, I mean, he witnessed his mother's death. Right.
Well, apparently he didn't witness it.
Okay.
He wasn't looking.
Distracted by
He's like, I ain't seen nothing.
I don't know what's happening. I guess I probably am finding it hard to like disentangle the movie where the shot
he's
is
standing up at the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, like I'm always real frustrated at the shit that happens when Harry's like at Privet Drive and everyone's like, it's like, oh, the mail can't get to him and shit. It's like, fucking sort it out. Like someone definitely could have hit him up sooner. Someone definitely could have like brought him. Yeah. He could have just gone straight to Grimmauld Place or whatever.
He's never been there before.
No, but like someone could have organized for him to just go there and not be stuck at Privet Drive with no mail and shit. Like, what's up with that? He's supposed to be like not just the main character, but like the most important person in the world.
Yeah.
And especially according to Dumbledore.
They don't seem to make actually that big of an effort to like do anything. I guess part of it is what you find out later is that like he has to spend a little bit of time there for like the
he has to go back there.
But like I don't know, there's like ways to still communicate with him.
Yeah, because like it turns out they have all these ways to communicate, like the coins and like the mirror, and there's something else that people use. Can't remember, but like there's obviously ways to communicate that can't be intercepted.
when like, couldn't they just be like apparating into his room?
Yeah.
And like have a yarn?
Or like into the street and then just knock on the door.
Yeah, but if it's like about, oh yeah, nah, because they don't even, Voldemort, etc., don't know that lives there where he lives.
Which is weird because like they would definitely be able to find that out, but maybe they can't actually find the place because it's protected. But they'll be able to find where it is.
But then how does Umbridge know to send the Dementors to there?
I think the Ministry must know where it is.
But then if the Ministry knows where he lives, like Voldemort's got people in the Ministry, how does he not know from that where?
I don't know, maybe his people aren't high up enough to know.
To know where Harry Potter lives.
Yeah.
Top secret. Yeah, I guess so.
I was shocked that it turns out that Umbridge sent the Dementors. I was like, how dare you?
Yeah, I didn't remember that at all. And I kept being like, damn, who did send those Dementors? And then she's like, it was me. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, she admits it.
You crazy bitch.
Yeah, what the fuck? Because like, I mean, Dumbledore thinks that it's Voldemort, which is pretty good assumption. And then they are so insistent that Voldemort's not there that they're like, it's impossible. But then it's like, wait, but it... And because she like makes such a point of saying at the beginning, like, are you implying that someone from the Ministry sent it? And then it was. Yeah. Fuck you.
It's like a really good gaslighter.
Yeah, well, that's the triggering thing about her character. Is like she's like a full-blown gaslighter. And then she totally just flip-flops and like pretty much joins Voldemort willingly. Like in the 7th one where they're doing all that like muggle-born testing and shit.
Well, like, doesn't someone say that? Doesn't someone, I was going to say Dumbledore, I don't know if it's him, but they're like, not all evil is like the Death Eaters, like there's evil outside of the Death Eaters.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm not a bad guy. I just hold all the same opinions and values as them.
Well, kind of, she does, yeah, she does have an ongoing thing like that, but she's also just like power hungry, I think, like whatever she can like leverage to have her power. Because, it's like, they also say that like she's like holding on to that locket as like this proof of her purebloodness, which implies that she's not that confident in her purebloodness,
Yeah, but also she's just like super racist. So racist.
Oh, racist.
My God, can't believe it.
Like, when you like wish you could just give someone a big slap.
Yeah.
Big frog face slap. Oh yeah, in the movie, and she's like not froggy at all. She's just like a cute old lady. It's like, what is wrong? Who's casting this? Like, did you read the book? Why? There's so many actresses out there.
Yeah, I know. Also, like, she doesn't look like how she's supposed to. And it's just one of those unfortunate things that now, like, every time I see that woman in anything, I'm like, fucking bitch. Like, she'll play, like, a really nice, supportive character, and I'm like, where's the, like, the turnaround, though, Like, you're hiding.
I know you're a bitch.
I hate you. I think she plays her pretty well, though, like particularly the like when she's sitting in on classes and she's like awful. It's so frustrating. That's one of the other things is like not only like the students but all the teachers having to just like go along and like submit, I
know they could have made it so much more difficult from her earlier on.
Yeah, they just should have been kind of like, I mean, I guess they do all that stuff, which is really entertaining, where they just like refuse to help her with stuff,
But that's like in the second half.
Yeah, that's way on. That's like after the Weasley twins leave.
Yeah, and they made that swamp.
That swamp.
Yeah.
And then Flitwick like solves it in a second once she's gone or whatever.
And conserves a part of it.
Yeah. I really liked, that's one of the best bits of the whole book is when they leave. I was like looking forward to that the whole time because I remembered reading it and being like it's so sweet because like they're naughty, but everybody loves them, you know? And like they are the ones who are like, nah, fuck this bitch. Like, we're not doing this anymore.
True. And they are actually like really good at magic, it turns out. Like, no one can get rid of, I mean, Flitwick could get rid of it, but like the other, like, you know, Umbridge can't get rid of it, for example. But I think it's implied that she's not that good at magic either because, like, A, she doesn't teach them any magic. Maybe she's a squib. Nah, she's got a wand. But she's got that real, like, short, stubby, like, toad wand. Toad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she's that good at magic. What does she even do? She does.
I don't know. Almost not. She can't do shit against like the centaurs and shit. Though in the seventh one, she has a Patronus.
That's why I was just gonna say she uses her Patronus.
What's her Patronus again? It's not a toad, eh?
It's a cat. Of course, it's.
Oh yeah, she loves cats. Yeah.
She's obsessed with
cats. Whatever, bitch.
Bitch. Yeah, I also find it like real disgusting, the like inquisitorial squad.
Yeah.
That's fucking gross, eh?
Yeah, all that stuff that's like pure like fabrication. Like the name's made up, the function's made up. The only thing it means is you have to do what I want. It's just like
yeah, and just like that giving power to people who are like desperately seeking it, who should not have any sort of power over others.
Yeah.
Even like when, because it's this one where they choose prefects, eh?
Yeah, and it's not Harry.
Yeah, lol. Even like this, what's his name? Malfoy becoming a prefect is like, damn, that is a boy who is going to abuse power immediately. Like,
yeah, but at the end, Dumbledore implies that he chooses the prefects, but he wouldn't choose. He wouldn't choose Malfoy, but who would you choose, really? Like, of the characters we know in that year in Slytherin, it's kind of like...
Yeah, when I guess at least, like... I don't know. I mean... You only really know a few of the boys, and they all seem kind of as bad as each other. But yeah, Dumbledore does imply that, but that doesn't make sense. He wouldn't be choosing... them, would he? It would be the heads of houses. Maybe he's just like so pally with McGonagall that he's like, Harry. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. But like Harry, what? It made me think though, like when, you know, Percy's a prefect and he's all like, he's like obsessed with it. Like, he's like obsessed with rules, obsessed with like doing the right thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think he would choose Harry or Ron. You'd choose Neville or something. He wouldn't have any power though.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, is like the authority to, you know, like Neville would be terrified to tell someone that...
Fred and George.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, so is Ron though.
Yeah, but Ron is like authoritative to the like younger kids, where I don't know if it's like proven. I don't think that's why Ron got it. I think Ron got it because he's like sad that he's not famous like Harry, and they wanted to like give him something in his life.
No, I reckon it's like they basically were giving it to Harry, but not Harry, like in place of Harry.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, I wouldn't give it to Harry either. Like, they'd only give it to Harry because he's famous. Like, he wouldn't really be a good prefect. He's breaking the rules all the time.
Yeah, all the time. He's obsessed with breaking the rules. And it's like, it's obviously not about magical talent. Because what does that matter?
It's about being a good boy.
Good
like
boy.
Voldemort.
He was such a good boy. Then it would definitely be, if it's about, I don't know, is it also about like your performance in classes though? You know, like that you're doing good in school? Because if it's just about you being a good boy, then it would definitely be Neville. But if it's about you
leadership,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Boy, yeah, when like they get the things and like Molly finds out that Ron became a prefect, she's like, everyone in the family, and Fred's like, what are me and George next door neighbors?
So
oh yeah, all that stuff at the Order of the Phoenix at the beginning and shit. It really sets a dark tone for the book too, because it's like it should be all homely and family and shit. Like everyone he knows and cares about is there, but it's like dark anyway. He's not enjoying it. He's kind of like, I don't know. He's like angry at everyone most of the time and shit.
Yeah, when so is Sirius, you know, like everyone's kind of like in this dark vibe, and those two like more than anyone else, and it's like. I feel like it's kind of like everyone just has got like impending doom feelings, you know?
Yeah, and they couldn't just have some nice time with Sirius before he dies either. They had to be like dark time with Sirius and then he dies.
So sad that she decided that he has to be like kind of immature and broody and like not be able to like deal with his feelings himself, you know, like not take the opportunities before they go back to school to have a really good time with them and then be like depressed after they go, you know?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, Grimmauld Place is just like not ever a good time, eh? Like even they have like Christmas and shit there, but it's like Arthur's just been nearly killed by Nagini.
It's not a good time there until the 7th one where they make friends with Creature and then they lose it immediately anyway because they fucking teleport that guy there.
Dumb bitches. Yeah, we won't talk about that. We can talk about that in 2 books. But
all right.
I feel like this one's like Jenny's cool in this one.
Yes.
You know? Which is really cool. She's like, you know, like she tells him off when he's like, when he's convinced that he's been possessed by Voldemort and he's not talking to anyone and he's only hanging out with Buckbeak. And she's like, yeah, weird that you didn't come talk to me, the one person you know who has been possessed by Voldemort.
Yeah, and she's also starting to show a bit more like kind of Weasley badassness that's a bit more like Fred and George and shit. Like she's like, yeah, you just, if you chuck dung bombs at the thing, you can tell if there's like a sealing charm on it or whatever. Yeah,
she's cool, eh? She like stops being, I guess she's like 14 in this one, so she's kind of like stopping being a tween, starting being a person.
And it turns out that like Hermione gave her the advice to like kind of forget about Harry and then he might notice her, and then it's like maybe then she starts showing a bit more of her cool side, because it turns out she was kind of cool in the background in secret, like she was like practicing Quidditch when no one was looking and like all this shit.
When it's kind of becomes apparent the more she's like involved in the books that she's like really popular and everybody really likes her.
Everyone wants to date her.
Yeah, it's just that like we've never seen it because we see from Harry's perspective where she's like, oh, I'm scared, you know? But she's obviously been cool out there.
Yeah, in the world. Yeah, I don't know, I'm still kind of like disappointed at the movies misrepresenting her, because she's just like not cool. She's just like feeble the whole way through the movies, and then like right at the end when she's like 40 or whatever, or like not even 40, she should be like about 35 or something, 30, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, and she looks quite old because they've done the same actress with makeup, and like I'm like, oh
yeah.
Come on, like that was not the buzz.
Well, they've dressed her as well. In that flash forward, she's dressed like at that point, it must be like what, 2010 at least. And she's like a 35-year-old woman wearing like 1940s like skirt and shirt, you know. It's like, All right. So she's just like got shit fashion too. Yeah, they really fucked her up in the movies because in the 7th one, there's that really sweet bit where she gives him a kiss for his birthday, and it's like a really, really tender moment. And in the movie, it's this like horribly awkward moment where they like are really awkward, and she's like, "Can you zip my dress up for me?" And he's like, "Oh, it's so like, oh, gives me shivers."
Apparently, like when it came for them to kiss in is it the 6th one where they finally kiss? Like when they came to shoot that, it took them ages because she was real awkward about it because she'd known him since she was like 9 or whatever. And so maybe the awkwardness is kind of real. But like, it's also, I don't know, it's like, can't you just make it right? Like your job is to make movies. Like your job is to make the story come to life, not like water it down and make a shit version of it.
Yeah, when your job as well as an actor is to not let the awkwardness of your relationship with that actor be like visible through your characters.
Yeah,
you know?
Don't be yourself.
You're not you, bro.
You're a puppet.
In this world, it's like a cute, sweet, like romantic thing that he's known you since you were like 9 years old, you know?
Is it? No, he feels awkward about it.
I know, but it's like a bond, you know?
Oh yeah, and also, but she was initially obsessed with him just because he's Harry Potter, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I think that's crack up, eh?
And then he saved her from in the 2nd one.
Yeah. Hold on, it's raining really hard. I'm just gonna, can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay, I'll close my window.
Okay, we'll save that for the 7th one anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, Dumbledore's army is really fun though. Like, that's cool. It's cool to see them like be put in all these positions of like no power. Like, they're not allowed to be in the Order of the Phoenix. They're too young. No one's telling them shit. Their teachers won't teach them, well, you know, Umbridge won't teach them anything. And they're like, you know, fuck you. We'll do it ourselves then.
It kind of highlights the lack of like realistic practical training at Hogwarts as well in general. Like, not just in the Defense Against the Dark, not just in Umbridge, but in Defense Against the Dark Arts in general, and maybe all the classes. Like, it's kind of like they're just fucking around most of the time.
Yeah, well, like all the things that Harry's able to teach them, it's so like favoritism-y, you know? Like, he's been taught all this stuff that they're like not bothering to try teach anyone else. It's like,
yeah,
well, would they be taught to do Patronuses if like Dumbledore's army hadn't taught them, you know?
Well, it's supposed to be high-level magic, which is weird because Harry, who's a high school kid, is able to teach all the other high school kids how to do it.
Yeah, right. And obviously, like, it's not something they're learning in their, I guess, like, I suppose it's hard to say because, like, the twins are in their last year, but they do have Umbridge as their teacher. But it doesn't seem like they're learning anything about Patronuses, you know?
No.
Was that, like, something you just try and learn after school?
Well, it would seem feasible that they would try and teach them Patronuses, seeing as it ends up that Patronuses are kind of like a standard magic, like standard spell that everyone can do in the world, in the wizarding world. But it would make sense if they were like, okay, now the Dementors are surrounding the school in the 3rd one, let's teach everyone, even if they can't do it fully, may as well try.
Yeah. better than nothing. When I was gonna say maybe it's because like Dementors for ages weren't really anything you'd ever have to deal with because they just are like around as Azkaban. So like fuck those prisoners. But then like everyone in the 7th one uses them for communication.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
everyone knows them. Everyone has them, you know, like in the ministry and shit.
Yeah. Well,
come on, bro.
Rowling, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think going back to Grimmauld Place, I think the stuff with Creature kind of like reinforces all the Hermione shit too, and she like gets like extra. Also, there's like a lot more foreshadowing now. Like all the stuff with Creature kind of like sets up, like there's all this stuff in the 5th one that sets up all this stuff about Horcruxes and the story that surrounds like everything that happens in the 7th one and shit.
Yeah, because when I was reading this one, there's that bit where they're cleaning out one of the like cabinets, and the locket's there, and it's like,
and it won't open.
Oh my god, no one can get the locket open. Oh my god.
It's like, why wasn't Dumbledore there? You know, like why wasn't Dumbledore like, oh, there might be a locket in the thing, you know, like I guess he didn't know yet or something.
Nah, I reckon he did. Because doesn't he start thinking it's like Horcruxes after the 2nd book when he sees and hears about the diary?
Yeah, but he only just figures out where the locket is in the 6th one, and then they go there.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that would be the only way he would find out the connection with Regulus Black.
Why can't other people fucking like feel the dark energy from that shit though, you know?
Well, but they might have felt it, but they didn't know it was a Horcrux. Because like people don't even know about Horcrux. Even in their book about dark magic, they're like, okay, we're not going to talk about Horcruxes because it's too evil.
The only thing we're going to say is they're fucked. Yeah, I guess so. It's just like the frustrating thing about Dumbledore is that he doesn't communicate anything with anyone else.
Yeah, but in the end, there was a reason for that.
But like,
because like if Harry had known, for example, that like he had to die, he wouldn't have done all the shit. And then if he'd known that if he chose to die, then he would survive, then he probably it wouldn't have been genuine, you know? He had to genuinely choose to die without knowing in order for everything to go the way it did or something.
Yes, I know. I more meant like the other adults, you know? Like, is there no one that Dumbledore talks to about like...
Yeah.
Maybe Horcruxes?
No, which that is stupid. Because it's like, why should Harry run around finding the Horcruxes? That seems stupid. Like, he should probably be... I mean, maybe he could be there too, but why? Like, anyone could go and destroy the Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been Lupin and Kingsley or some shit. They would have probably got there way faster.
Yep.
Though Harry does, that's another thing that's set up by all these like flashes to Voldemort in the 5th one, is that ends up being like a key plot point in the 7th one, because he's like checking in with Voldemort's mind to get hints about what the fuck they're even doing.
Yeah, that's funny, eh?
Hello.
Oh.
Voldemort, on the other hand, is not trying to do it anymore after the 5th one. He's like, no, I'm not going there again.
That was shitty and painful. Fuck that guy.
But actually, it was a pretty good trick in the end, in the 5th one. They got serious that way.
Yeah, it was pretty well done. I think they thought it through well. I have questions about like how the fuck the prophecies are supposed to work though, because it's like no one can take them down apart from, maybe we already talked about this, but like only the people who the prophecy is about on the shelf.
So why can't Voldemort take it down?
Yeah, no, because they address it in the book. They say he just like couldn't risk going into the ministry, but it's also like just put on, take some fucking polyjuice potion and go in.
But he goes there anyway.
Lucius Malfoy, whatever.
But he goes there anyway.
I know, in the end. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But also, when they're in there and they're all fighting each other, like the Death Eaters and Dumbledore's army, they do magic that doesn't hit the person and it hits the shelves and all these prophecies fall off. So it's like, couldn't you just magic at the prophecy or like the shelf holding the prophecy or nearby it and then wait for it to fall and catch it?
I don't know.
Like,
they were probably not trying to destroy the whole room.
I know, like, if it's that important that you're going to spend months and like send Nagini, who's a Horcrux, in to try like figure it out and shit, and like Imperious people.
Good question, actually, because like spells should probably not work on the shelves because they're protected.
Yeah.
So they should just be bouncing off the shelves, really. Otherwise, that would be way too easy.
And that almost is like a cooler thing to be happening, rather than creating the scenery of like all these like glass orbs falling around them. Have it be like
going forever, and it just builds up until everyone except the main characters gets hurt.
Of course. But that creates a whole different problem for them to actually be facing, because it's like, well, fuck, actually just like shooting off a bunch of spells is probably going to knock us out as well. So it's like, well, then how do you fight them now? Ooh. I could have done it better. Anyway, the rest of the rooms that they go through to get to that room are cool. Yeah. And it's a shame that none of that shit is in the movie as well.
Isn't it?
The room with the arch that Sirius dies in is in the movie.
Oh no, the buzzy brains and shit.
Yeah, there's no time room where that guy falls back into it and then he has a baby head and a man.
Is that not in the movie at all?
No, I don't think so.
And where they smash all the time turners.
Like perfectly writing them out of the world.
It's like, whoops, now there's zero time turners in the world.
Whole world time turners were in this one shelf.
Who's making them though? Like, someone must make them.
Yeah, or like has made them at some point. They were made. I don't think.
Why are they all in one place? It doesn't make sense. If there's a stock of them, that means they're like manufactured.
Yes.
But why are they being manufactured if they're so dangerous? And then they're all in the same place, which means you know where to go to steal one. And like you could steal all of them or destroy all of them at once.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like so foolish. But I assumed it was one of those things where like, a few hundred years ago, someone made.
Oh, and they're like confiscated or something.
And now they're like regulated, But also it's again the same thing as like the first one where they're like, well, we'll just put them all here because our defenses on people getting in at all are just so good that no one's ever going to get in. It's like, well, a group of teenagers
walked in there.
Just like
at night. There's no one in there. There's no one in there at night.
I think, is that not in part because like the Death Eaters have done that?
No.
Like, you
is
sure?
It?
I think so, because I think.
But they go in the visitor entrance.
I know, but like, I just assumed that like there would be a security guy on that desk, but they took him out so that Harry will get down to the prophecy room, Like
that
how
kind of makes sense.
He makes sure that things aren't attacking Harry in the maze so that he can get to the end, kind of thing. I don't know if it says that. I just assumed that was like, because otherwise you don't just leave your government unattended at night because everyone's in bed at night.
Well, especially when your government houses like a whole bunch of like dangerous, forbidden, confiscated magic objects.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's like the only hint in almost the whole series into some like deeper exploration of magic and like obscure, more like occult or even like more like scientific exploration of magic, you know, like that brains and shit. And like when the archway is obviously some kind of like ancient artifact that they're protecting because it like bridges to the world of the dead or whatever.
Yeah. Why? I want to read about that. I want to read about the Department of Mysteries more.
Bro, Rowling does not have it in her.
I know. But like, what a way more interesting thing to be exploring than school.
Yeah, like this beef between Harry and Voldemort. It's like, whatever.
Who cares?
Just let them both die. Let the world go back to normal. Yeah, well, like in that fight, like the Death Eaters are pretty pathetic. Like they get a couple of mediocre hits on the kids, and the kids are not even aiming to kill or hurt anyone. They're just like stunning them and freezing them and like disarming them and shit, which is retarded. But like, they can't do shit against this group of high school kids who they outnumber as well. And like, there's no explanation for that really either. But also like, they're supposed to be like kind of high level dark wizards. They're supposed to have all this like kind of dark techniques, and that's kind of their motivation for following Voldemort, right? Like, he's like their gateway to power and like magic that you can't use in the normal,
like a world where that shit is not like outlawed. Yeah,
and where they get like like access to more just power, I guess, knowledge and power. But like they don't, they're still shit.
I know, it's like she didn't really bother to like actually just to herself and for like the background of the world create that dark world and then like have those characters be from that world, you know? Like they're all doing kind of the same spells as the kids are, more or less.
There's some weird shit. There's something, I mean, it's not exactly the same stuff, but it's like not, it's regular, like known spells anyway.
Like, I don't know. What are they
like? What do they think? Why? What's that?
You know, like they are using Avada Kedavra, but it's like once or something, isn't it? And they're all like, oh my god, they're trying to kill us.
It's not even really clear why they're following Voldemort or what they think, what the outcome of Voldemort winning is for the Death Eaters, you know? Like, obviously when he was like rising to power, he had this campaign about pure bloodness and like not letting muggles in. And then like, you know, because like Sirius, I think, explains that like lots of the pure blood families were kind of on board with that, and until he started doing like really fucked up shit, and then they were like, oh no, that's not what we're about. But like, then what do they think is actually gonna happen? Like they're just like classic evil villain shit. Like they just believe that if they follow this guy, they're gonna be included in the power. Is that it?
Yes, no. Because it's not really so like explicit even as like, you know, like Grindelwald, he's like, we want to not be in hiding from muggles, have them know about we're in charge. And it's like, right, so you've got a plan. Like, you know what you want the world to look like. Whereas Voldemort's just like, I want to be in charge. And then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, he's just got so much violence in him that can't contain it.
Yeah, and I think for it also like rejection by that magical world that he's like, well, fuck you then, you know? You don't want me, I don't want you either.
Yeah, because I guess he does start off by trying to do it within the magical system, like he tries to work at Hogwarts and shit.
Yeah, and I think if there was more like leniency on, you know, like probably even if he'd gone to Durmstrang and like been brought up in that sort of environment, like I don't know if it would have been that there was as much for him to rebel against, you know? So it's like, yeah.
Maybe after he heard the prophecy, and then especially after he got fucked up by Harry Potter, like then he got all extra fucked up about like, wow. Yeah, but it's fine. Then maybe he got extra fucked up about needing power and needing to prove his all-powerfulness against Harry Potter, because once it was proven that he couldn't just do whatever he wanted, then he had to prove it back, you know?
Yeah, and there's probably a thing as well about like just his pride of being beat by a baby. That he's like, well, I gotta come back from this.
/ being beat by love.
Yeah, how fucking pathetic.
Pathetic fucking pussy.
Whoa. It's coming down.
Climate change in New Zealand.
La Nina.
Huh?
La Nina.
Is that the baby?
No. No. It's the like, you know, El Nino?
Yeah.
La Nina? Yeah.
The baby.
No.
Lasagna.
That's why it's so wet. I don't know if you're having rain like this over there.
Nah.
But like all summer it's been so wet. All New Zealand.
We had a bit of rain, nothing particularly unusual. Apparently it's snowing today, but not exactly where we are. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
Move on.
I like that in the 5th one, it's like all in the castle, almost.
Yeah.
You know, like it's all. I quite like when it's based in the school. Like the 4th one is kind of too much. Like there's like all the other schools there, and like all the Triwizard shit, and like starts off with all that.
Yeah. It's way more like that, more like normal school thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
But
they
with-
just go to school.
With the ministry interfering.
Yeah, fucking bitches. I like when Firenze comes. He's way cooler than Trelawney.
I know, but he has to keep Trelawney there to protect her from Voldemort.
I know.
But then it turns out she did actually predict a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she's like accurate. Because I think, did we talk about that in one of the other ones? Maybe it's the 3rd one where she, you know, like she predicts that Hermione will leave before this date, and then she does and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, and she predicts like a bunch of stuff, like your worst fear is going to happen on this date, and then her bunny dies, and like she predicts that like oh no, maybe that's Harry and Ron predict that themselves. But anyway, there is a whole bunch of stuff that is like discarded as inaccurate but ends up being accurate. And I actually saw like a video the other day that was like she guesses that Harry's birthday's in midwinter, but it's not. But Voldemort's is.
Yeah.
So
Which
it's
is
like
cool.
actually she is tapping into something.
She's right. Yeah, I think as well, she's so dismissed in the way that like horoscopes are dismissed in our world, because she's like doing what horoscopes do, which is what people always criticize them for, is like, well, that's so broad that could apply to anyone, but then all of hers are coming true.
Yeah.
Trelawney. Is this the one where she starts drinking as well?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because I think she's like they start mentioning the cooking sherry like when she gets kicked out of the school. Like maybe she's already drinking in advance of her being fired.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, Dumbledore doesn't do fuck all to kind of like intimidate Umbridge or like, you know, like I feel like he could do more. I guess he's already been discredited at that point though.
Yeah, I know. It just kind of feels like everyone just like takes it, you know? They're like, well, this sucks. Boo. It's like, well, you are like all the tops of your field and shit, right? And like highly respected. Like you are a world-renowned school. And Dumbledore is like, even if he has been like somewhat discredited, there's still a lot of people who are like, nah, this guy's right, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's weird that so many people just believe the newspaper and are like, oh, yeah, I was always suspicious about that Dumbledore, or like, oh, I can't believe that Dumbledore is really like a crackpot or whatever.
It's crazy.
But like, no one tries to like battle Umbridge on her own terms either. Like, no one tries to like be like, well, actually the law says this and like we've already got all these rules, so you have to do this and blah blah blah. Like they're all just like, all right.
Yeah, and it's like explained by, oh well, she's been given like, you know, unlimited power over the school. And it's like,
but what's gonna happen if like they're just like, nah?
Yeah.
Like, what if all the students were agreed to just be like, nah, like just not go to her classes and like go somewhere else instead?
Well, it's also like the problem is somewhat addressed when like the people from the school, you know, like when Harry gives the interview to Rita Skeeter, you know, once it's like more publicized, then like, you know, everyone's a bit more like rebellious to her and shit. And it's like, well, then is the Daily Prophet like the only publication going on? Like, it's crazy that there's that, and then there's what's the Quibbler, and everyone's like, well, the Quibbler's bullshit.
Well, and there's no TV, but TV's kind of probably worse than the newspaper anyway.
There's radio. They have radio.
Yeah, there's not radio until the Chemist one.
Yeah. It's just like crazy even that the ministry is in control of their newspaper, you know?
Oh yeah, like Harry's hearing too is like so, I mean like unfair obviously, but it's like kind of unconvincing too. Like there's like the Wisengamot or whatever is like a whole bunch of wizards, right? Like the top of the game wizards.
Yeah.
It must be a fair percentage, and they all vote for Harry in the end anyway. So like they're obviously not all on board with Fudge's shit. But like none of them are like, Fudge, what the fuck are you doing? Like why are we having this hearing? Why are you asking those questions? Like why aren't you listening to the story?
Well, why are you, Fudge, the Minister for Magic, even involved in an underage magic case?
Why is he even a judge in the thing? He's supposed to be a minister, not a judge. Like, isn't there a judge? Like a specialized judge?
Isn't that what the Wizengamot is?
Well,
like
yeah.
Well, so then he's just... That seems to be separate from the ministry.
It's weird in the first place that the reason he's so triggered about Harry and gets so like obsessed with discrediting Harry is that he's reading Rita Skeeter's shit in the newspaper.
It's crazy.
Like she must have written a whole bunch of shit about him and people that he knows that was utter bullshit.
Yeah.
So he must know that everything she writes is utter bullshit.
They all must know that it's just like fluff, really.
Though it kind of ends up that, or it's kind of implied by the end that she does actually kind of print the truth. It's just the truth that no one wants to hear. Like, all the shit about Dumbledore kind of ends up being true.
Yeah, like, she's telling the truth. Or, like, I guess she always has, all her information comes from sources, but it's like she seeks out sources who are like...
Yeah, she targets the stories that people are trying to hide.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's not a liar. Like, she's not just printing anything. It's just that she's like a bitch, you know? And also, like, gaining a bunch of her information illegally.
You know, when they meet up with her. Oh, yeah, by the way, the date with Cho is in the 5th one, right?
Yeah.
And it goes horribly. Man, I was so disappointed about that.
It's so awkward.
I was like, Cho is so much more right for him than Ginny at that point, at least.
Yeah.
And like in general, I think too, like she's kind of like, apart from the fact that Ginny's a Weasley, she's like, I was like, I can't believe we're wasting this opportunity for him to have like a cool girlfriend like Cho, because she's like plays Quidditch and she's like smart and she's kind of sassy, you know, and she's not just like, she like disagrees with Harry. She has like her own opinion and shit. But then it's like she just
all the time.
But she just ends up being this like dumb emotional bitch, which is like not who her character was initially.
No, because like the way it's like dealt with is so like bullshit. Like, I don't know. It's so like emotionally repressed from Harry that he's like, why does she cry all the time? It's like,
because her boyfriend died and you were there.
Yeah, like you just witnessed the murder of her boyfriend. Like, she is not the abnormal one, bro.
Yeah,
have
like
feelings.
Everything Harry did was wrong pretty much, and she was just being a normal human. And like she like I mean Hermione explains it perfectly, really. Like she likes Harry, but she's confused about it because her boyfriend died and she probably still likes him, and like and Harry was there when he died. It's kind of a fucked up love triangle.
It's weird, eh? It's kind of weird.
But Harry did like her. They did kind of like each other before she got involved with Cedric, though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so weird where like they're on that date and she tries to talk about Cedric and he's like, I don't want to talk about Cedric right now. Why can't we talk about something else? And it's like, that's like one of your main things you have in common is this like shared trauma. Like,
yeah, but he doesn't want to do anything either. He's like freaked out by every aspect of the thing. He's like, you know, oh no, everyone else here is couples. Oh, everyone's kissing. Like, oh, I have to look at Cho and she's so pretty. And like, it's like, why did she even come? Don't you want to go there and look at Cho and she's pretty and kiss her? That's what I want to do. That's why I'm there. I'm in the cafe with you, bro. Like, you can go home. I'm going to have the date with Cho.
I guess that's like the point though, is he's 15 and he's like, oh, I want this, oh, I'm scared of wanting this and of getting what I want, you know, like,
yeah,
do I know what to do?
But no. Everything else about the story and his character is like he's like 25 and then it's just with the dating part is he's 15.
Grown man doesn't know what to do on a date.
And then he's like, oh, I'm going to go and like meet up with Hermione. And she doesn't pick up that she's going to be jealous about that on Valentine's Day and doesn't explain why. Like, he's like, oh, no, it's not a date. Like, he doesn't say that it's not a date.
Yeah. It's so like stupid.
It's like, fail to prepare to fail, bro.
Yeah, I guess he's just overlooked that, like, you know, Hermione's a girl at all. He's like, you know, I'm gonna go see my mate.
Well, it's kind of also unrealistic that Cho's not like Cho's supposed to be a smart girl. She's in Ravenclaw. She'd be like obviously Hermione's not a threat. Like, they're hanging out all the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, actually, the reason I was talking about that was because they go and like meet up with Rita Skeeter, and he doesn't know that's what's happening, but he goes there, and he's like, unemployment really doesn't suit her.
It's so funny, eh?
There's so many like judgmental moments like that. Like, there's not like, no one gets the benefit of the doubt in Harry Potter.
Nah, brutal, eh?
It's like, she's a dumb, shallow, ugly bitch.
Yeah, or like, before he knows anything about Umbridge, he's like, she's fat and looks like a frog.
Yeah, and they never let it go for the whole thing. It's like, and she's wearing this hat that looks so much like a big fly resting on her head that just makes her look more like a toad.
Isn't that in the 7th one as well, where they're like trying to find out who Mundungus sold the locket to, and he's like, she looks like a frog, and they're like, oh my god, it's Umbridge.
Yeah, there's also a thing, there's like a bit where she's getting excited about something, and it's like, she looked like she was about to attack a particularly juicy fly. They're really going the extra mile with the metaphor.
You know what? Just stick to it. Just keep going.
We've come this far, you know.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it was in this one. It might have been the 6th one, but there's a thing where like Harry's like rushes back. Oh, I think it's the 6th one actually. But anyway, Harry's like rushing back to the common room, and it's like he like avoided Peeves, who wouldn't let anyone pass unless they set their pants on fire, and like it's like. And then like a few minutes later, Neville comes in and he's like smells something that seemed like suspiciously like the smell of burning fabric. I was like, lol. It's like
what?
There you go.
Oh, Peeves is just like such a good addition to the castle. It's so funny when like, is it Fleur? And she's like, we would never allow a poltergeist at my school. This is so like low rent. Right, so they could have got rid of him, but no one does. Like,
yeah, I don't know, bro.
They just let him be.
Obviously, most of the teachers could probably get rid of him, but yeah, it's part of their tacky British aesthetic or something.
Yeah, part of the fun of it.
Hey, I've got a question. They always talk about like Hagrid's bucket-sized cups.
Yes.
When they go there for tea, which is quite often, do they have this bucket-sized cup of tea? And if so, do they? Oh, they make it in a teapot. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because they talk about having tea bags and shit too. Do they have bucket-sized tea bags? You know, like tea bag. Do they need a tea bag like this big or whatever for this?
You couldn't just have a normal-sized tea bag in it, or like, no. I guess you could put like 15 in, but that seems stupid. I thought they made it in a teapot.
He's got a copper kettle. We know that much.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure they talk about making cups of tea, you know? It would make more sense if it was a teapot, though. Teapot tea's better anyway.
Yeah. Hagrid would know that. I kind of just assumed they were just like glug 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 with their huge bucket sized. That's one of those things though that she always describes it exactly the same way. And she always describes his handkerchief as his tablecloth sized handkerchief.
That seems too big even for a half a giant.
I agree.
Because he's like...
In the first one, I was like, I don't think... Because like, in terms of how big a handkerchief is to me, it's like maybe a bit bigger than my head.
Yeah.
His head.
The size of a table. Like a meter square. Yeah, because he's supposed to be like roughly twice the size of a person.
Yeah, like 3 times as wide.
Yeah.
3 men.
But maybe two men high.
Yeah.
So let's say it should be about double the size.
Yeah.
Not a tablecloth. It's like a towel size.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have that ring to it though.
No. One doesn't have the shock value of this. God, he's just so big.
And his like hairy brown suit that he like puts on for
I think that's so funny. He's like all dressed up. And I think it's at Dumbledore's funeral and Harry's like, Hagrid's even wearing his hairy brown suit.
Yeah, and Fleur and Bill's wedding too.
So cute. It's a special occasion thing. He's such a cute character.
Oi. Oh no, nothing, nah.
Okay.
Nothing. I just I saw some shit about like R.I.P. Hagrid, and I was like, but he doesn't die, but the actor died.
Yes. Sad. We meet Tonks in this one as well.
Yeah, I'm not that impressed by Tonks. I think she's cool when you're 10 and you're reading it.
I think the coolest thing about her is her power to be able to change her appearance. That's cool.
Yeah, she doesn't really have a personality.
No, and most of her personality is like...
I love Remus.
Like, a little bit. Yeah, and then she's just really depressed because Remus won't be with her. And it's like... Well, that's not really a personality, is it?
I don't understand that whole subplot anyway. Like, there's no hint of them liking each other in the first place. And then suddenly she's so depressed about it and her Patronus is a wolf. And like, he's like all like, yeah, whatever. And then they do end up being together. And then he tries to leave her again when she gets pregnant, which is pretty fucked up.
Fucked up, eh?
But why? Why are we having that subplot? And then they both die.
Yeah, it's totally unnecessary because it could just, you know, like there's the whole thing where Harry is like convinced that Tonks was in love with Sirius because he sees her Patronus and he's like, it's a wolf, it's Padfoot, like it's a dog, it's Padfoot. Yeah. And it's like, that is such an unnecessary, the whole thing is unnecessary. It could just be like, oh, now they're together. How nice and wonderful. That's really cool. Move on.
You know, J.K. Rowling said like that the werewolf thing's kind of a metaphor for AIDS.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw this meme that was like J.K. Rowling in the office with like a dartboard, and it's like, okay, the throws a dart, and it's like the Sorting Hat is trans.
Yeah, she's just like making bullshit up at this point, eh?
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the chapters. That bit where there's a boggart in Grimmauld Place and Mrs. Weasley goes to try deal with it and it turns into everyone dead.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
Yes.
It was just really sad.
Yeah, it was good to have a bit of insight into why she's such a psycho in that book. Because like in the beginning she's like so obsessed with like and like overprotective about that shit, and it's like, okay, she's worried about everyone dying.
Yeah, it's good to like have that explained.
I reckon she should have died instead of George.
All right. Yeah, I think George was pretty like, I don't know, unnecessary. Should have just got rid of Percy. No one cares.
Yeah, that would have actually made a lot more sense. Like if Percy had died and they hadn't been able to reconcile that relationship.
I think that would have almost been like more grim, you know? Like
it would have been.
Back, they're just getting back on good terms, and then he dies, and everyone's like.
It would have been a more convincing tragedy.
Yeah. It kind of, I always just kind of felt like she killed one of the twins because she was like, well, there's two of them. I'll kill one of them. Like,
well, I think she was looking for what would be tragic. And it's like, man, we'd never get over that loss.
I'm still not over it.
Yeah, they were just getting going with all that shit. And they're just like kind of proven themselves as like real dank wizards, not only with the joke shop, but with like the products that they were making and shit, like for the ministry and shit. And it's like, what? Now Fred's gonna do that on his own?
I know. It kind of almost would have made more sense if like Ron had died, you know? Because he's like.
Yeah, Ron should have died, and then Hermione could have got out with Fred or something in exchange. Like, oh, I really miss Ron, but or Charlie.
Yeah, I just mean like Ron never really proved himself to be like that good of a wizard.
That's not the point.
No, I just mean in terms of like who might be more likely to have died in a duel. Or something.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, he died because of giants threw a rock. I don't think dueling ability is overcoming that.
Yeah,
fucking underhanded move on Voldemort's part. It's like, yeah, you can be a good wizard, but
fuck your magic.
Natural disaster. Yeah, what if Ron had died? That would not be too bad. He doesn't really bring much to the plot.
Yeah, also might have just like, you know, it's so often that thing in books where like the main group or like trio in this case is seemingly invincible, you know, like nothing ever really hurts them, nothing that bad happens to them personally, you know. It's like boring after a while.
Yeah, also like I saw this post saying that like pointing out that like there's like a really strong theme of like stable marriages and stable partnerships and shit, and I think it is kind of true. Like there's just a couple of like there's like Snape's parents and Voldemort's parents are like fucked up, but even like the Malfoys are like a real strong couple. And like, don't you think like settling into a marriage is kind of like gonna hold Hermione back? Like she's like got the most potential out of anyone in their whole generation kind of, and she's just gonna like, they end up having kids and shit, which it doesn't mean that she's not gonna have any career, but it's kind of like, I don't know, like I think she could have like, if Ron had died and she could have like been single for a while and really like she could have been like the next Dumbledore or something.
Yeah, what does she even end up doing? Like
we don't know.
Don't we?
No, it doesn't say anything.
I'm gonna Google it quickly.
I think Rowling's Twitter
said something about it.
What's that?
J.K. Rowling's probably said something.
Yeah, on Twitter.
Yeah.
She ends up making like a anti-trans wizards group.
Oh. She becomes Minister for Magic.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah. That's in like Cursed Child. Apparently, there's a bunch of shit about them.
That's like the cop-out answer. Like, every great wizard has chosen not to go into the ministry because it's a waste.
Yeah. Yeah. What does Ron do?
Let's talk about that in the 7th one.
Okay.
Because I've got a whole... Most of that for me is going to be about the ending. How lacking the ending is.
The last chapter, the epilogue. I quite liked in this one that you like do their owls with them. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah. And it was kind of like good world building and shit. And then there was all that stuff about the flashbacks and like his dad and Sirius doing the owls and shit.
Yeah.
Also, they go to all that trouble to sneak into Umbridge's office to talk to Lupin and Sirius, and then like just to check about his dad and shit, and then like
I know.
Yeah, he was a dick, but he was only 15, and Harry's like, I'm 15.
I know, he goes to so much effort, and it's not like something's happening. He's just like, yeah, was my dad a dick?
Yeah, and then when he really needs to talk to them later, he's already wasted the opportunity and he gets caught, and he doesn't have enough time to actually... He should have just gone there. He should have just like actually gone through, bro.
Yes. Yeah, actually. Why doesn't he? Also, just like...
Because then he wouldn't get caught either, but he wouldn't be able to get back. He'd have to get the night bus back or something.
Well, he's like finished with his exams and everything anyway. Whatever.
Oh, no.
Actually, it's also just like when at the beginning of the book, Sirius gives him that present and he just puts it in his pocket and never opens it. And then at the end, it's like, well, you fucking had with you the thing you needed, bro. Always open your presents.
Fucking prick.
Dickheads.
Yeah, and also just like have a bit of appreciation and like awareness and shit, you know? Like he's so wound up in his like wallowing that he doesn't really think about what he could be doing.
Yeah, this one really feels like he's in like fight or flight. You know, like the system is like fucked this whole one. He's like, oh, so tense. Nothing's like, he doesn't use his brain.
Yeah, he should spend more time in the prefect's bathroom.
Yeah, he needs to like chill out. He should be meditating.
Wait, actually, that's the 6th one where he's allowed in the prefect's bathroom.
Is it? Oh yeah, because he's the captain.
Yeah.
I mean, he could just ask his 2 best friends what the bathroom password is. Anyway,
it's a sensitive topic.
Explained what the bathrooms are like for all the other students. They never shower or bathe.
Yeah, and they hardly ever go to the toilet.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there's only one toilet in Hogwarts.
Yeah.
It's only for girls. The boys have to just go outside.
Haunted.
Yeah. Yeah. There must be toilets in the dormitories, right?
You'd assume so, right? But I feel like when they're explaining what the dormitory looks like, there's a door to the left that goes to the boys' rooms and then a door to the right that goes to the girls' rooms.
It's the boys on the left.
I think so, isn't it?
Not in my mind.
Well, it is in my mind.
Everyone's trying to have the left. Everyone's trying to have the right side for themselves. Man, it's so solidly the boys is on the right in my mind.
Nah, no way. You're wrong.
We're gonna look it up later. We're gonna catch it up next time.
But I guess there could be a bathroom on each dormitory floor, you know?
Yeah, well, at least in the common room, off the common room. But like the prefect's bathroom is just one for every prefect, right? It's like it's not specific to any house.
I think so. I think it's just, like a shared prefect bathroom. I don't understand how that works though. Are you a prefect just for your 5th year?
No, I think you're a prefect forever.
Okay. So then there's quite a few prefects.
There's 6 in each house at each time.
Oh yeah, I guess that's not that many. But then head boy and head girl, there's just 2.
Just 7th year, I think.
Yeah, but like there's just 1 boy and 1 girl. Right?
I think so, yeah.
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 I don't think we did that at high, eh? We didn't have head boy and girl, did we? No.
We didn't have anything at high. I'd never heard of prefects apart from Harry Potter. And we didn't have houses. We didn't have...
I had houses for the first 2 years. There was houses in year 9 and 10 when I was there.
What? We didn't have that.
But it wasn't like...
Were they called shit like Kiwi and Moa and shit?
I was in Cousins. They were named after like high principals, I think.
The fuck? We didn't have that.
But it wasn't like... So like...
We didn't have ducks and shit either, I don't think.
What?
Did we?
I did. We did.
I didn't do the last year of high school. I'm just like Harry Potter.
When I was in year 9 though, that you get put into a house, but the year 10s didn't have the same houses.
We just had Norfu.
What?
Norfu.
Oh yeah.
Homeroom.
Yeah. But that changed every year.
Yes. That's a good point.
Okay, so we had to take a quick break because of time, which exists.
Like a week and a half.
And now we're coming back to 5. I've just been watching memes, mostly Harry Potter memes.
Yeah, I watched 5. I think I watched 3, 4, and 5. But I kind of fell asleep at points of all of them. Because
That's dedicated.
Yeah, it's so like I've seen them so many times.
I watched The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, we tried to watch it on Christmas Day, but Shino-chan fell asleep within like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Like before they even got to Oz. And I was like, that would have been a fucking boring movie then. Yeah, sepia. Yeah, and now we're right in the middle of the holiday season, so trying to squeeze that in. But I think we were kind of in the middle of talking about like the setup of Hogwarts and like the houses and kind of like the bias and the structure and stuff, and like just a bunch of kind of Hogwarts admin kind of shit. But we don't really need to go that far into that. And
how the schooling system works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's crazy that they don't have the the like actual houses points counters in the movies.
Do they not?
Nah.
They're in the games.
I know. Because I remember, I think like a few years ago or something, I thought about it and realized that they weren't in the movies. But then I was like, but I've definitely seen a representation of them.
Yeah.
Visually. But yeah, they were in the games. And I think maybe, I wonder if they were in like a deleted scene from the first movie or something, that because we had the DVD of the first one. Then I saw it there or something like that.
Did the first 2 have like a different director anyway?
I think it was not consistent across all the movies. I'm going to look it up though.
About that, are the counter things like just in one place, like in the entrance hall or something?
Yeah, I thought they were in the grand hall, but I guess the entrance hall might make more sense.
Like when they just giving points and taking points away, How did they
Yeah.
do that? Like,
it's magic, bro.
yeah, I want to know how.
What do you
Anyway,
mean? Like,
well, they can't see it. They don't know how much is in there at the time. Like, do they just send a little ping off?
It's like them they speak it into existence, you know?
Deep.
But only the teachers
Can
are
do it.
qualified to speak it.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Chris Columbus directed 1 and 2. Alfonso Cuarón directed 3. Mark Newell directed 4, and David Yates the rest of them.
Wow, they are all different.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, last time we were talking about like the bias of like the houses, like how Slytherin's just straight evil, and then how Hufflepuff's just like all the rest.
Yeah.
Actually,
so funny. She put so little effort into that. Like, I think I might have said this last time, but like, it would not be hard to just have like, yeah, your like bad guy house, whatever, and your house that obviously is kind of the main one because that's where all your characters are, but just not to have one house that's like whatever, just those guys, nothing interesting about them.
who, Hufflepuff?
Yeah.
I saw this quote from her recently saying like she's like disappointed that Malfoy has a following because he's supposed to be like completely bad. He's not supposed to. There's no like goodness hidden under his like kind of negative, like kind of distorted character. He's just a piece of shit.
Okay. That's interesting. I think though, I do think that his kind of redemption, or like the things you see about him that make you feel more like sympathetic to him, I think they played that up way more for the movies than it is in the books.
Yeah, and she was
like,
saying that like people like the actor, not the character, and so like that's gotten confused as well.
I guess so, and I think he has done a good job of. I've never seen him in anything else, but I think he was good as Malfoy. But in the movies, you really, I guess it's because you're seeing it like visually represented, like all through the 6th one and stuff. You're like, damn, that's fucked up, bro. Like, he's just been coerced into. But then I guess in the books, it's like,
yeah, I thought there was some sympathy for him in the books.
Yeah, because it's talked about that Voldemort doesn't believe that he can do it. It's like a punishment of his father. And it's like, that is fucking tragic. Like, why would you give a character a really tragic storyline and then be like, he's all bad?
Yeah, like she set up the kind of reasoning for him being kind of fucked up or whatever. And also like the whole family starts to get a bit redeemed like in the 7th one, you know.
Yeah, she like, because did redeem. Like, Narcissa saves Harry's life, and then they're all there at the end. Like, they stay.
And Malfoy kind of saves them too. Like when they're in the Malfoy Manor, Draco, he's like, they're like, you know, Harry Potter, is this him? He's like, I don't know, whatever, maybe.
I'm not sure. I can't be sure.
Ooh. Like if he was really like a piece of shit who just wanted Harry to die, he'd just be like, yeah, that's him, kill him.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever that character though, you know?
Like, no, he was jealous and like, he's got feelings, you know?
When he's been fully indoctrinated into like a dark magic family where he thinks that like the Weasleys are blood traitors and shit.
Yeah.
But then like, you know, Ron has heaps of those same opinions that are more normal in their society.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa. It doesn't mean anything.
Okay, one thing that I've kind of that has come to me a whole bunch of times that I was actually going to talk about last time but I forgot what it was. But like they celebrate Christmas and shit, but like and Halloween, which I think is misguided because like like the Christmas tradition as it is now has kind of like developed from a way more wholesome tradition and potentially even like a deeper, more esoteric meaning in the beginning, like most
Yes,
Christian
I actually
things.
was just listening to a podcast the other day about where Christmas comes from.
Yeah, and like that's kind of my whole vibe. Like I'm like reading about that kind of shit all the time. So I'm like, the Muggle traditions have become what Christmas is now, but the wizarding traditions have like developed in parallel, like separately, because like, and they've got a much, if anything, a longer history than like Muggle traditions, and they're still doing magic, so they should really be following a deeper tradition that's about the timing, like the seasonal timing and the meaning of like the symbolism and shit. But then they're like doing presents and like they've got like Christmas trees and like baubles and shit. It's like, bro. And like pumpkins and shit.
Well, for Halloween, it's really like a missed opportunity that she didn't bother to research like more like witchy, old school traditions of Halloween.
Bro, the whole world is a missed opportunity that she could have researched like what's actually going on behind all these different ideas.
Yeah, that's weird, eh? I guess you could argue that for their like, I guess with like some of the families, they've got muggles in the family, like
Oh yeah.
half caste or whatever.
What about the Weasleys though?
Yeah, which doesn't hold true for the Weasleys, or why Hogwarts would be celebrating them in that manner.
Yeah. Because apart from Dumbledore, I think it's implied that most other headmasters have been a bit more purist and shit. And actually most other people in the world are a bit more purist, but like kind of accept Muggleborns, more or less.
Yeah. From what this podcast was saying though, like the tradition of like bringing in a tree has been around for fucking ages.
Oh, yeah.
Like ages and ages. That was one of the first things. And it wasn't so much decorated with like random shit and trinkets. It was like what you wanted in the new year and like meaningful stuff.
True.
So some of that I guess is like fine. And I think they did give presents, but it wasn't the same. This podcast was talking about like how since like Roman times and stuff, their like Christmas celebration was just like real like gay, like lots of cross-dressing and like
Really?
shit. Like there was a whole tradition for ages where the poor and like servants and stuff would go to the rich's house and just be like, you gotta give me shit, give me stuff. Either like give me money or like I want that thing over there. They just
I want that
like,
silver candlestick.
Yeah. Which I think probably got more like co-opted into Halloween traditions now, but I think also that was one where the rich eventually were like, no.
Yeah, we're gonna make this into a holiday where you have to give each other presents.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. Do they celebrate Easter? They do, because Mrs. Weasley sends them eggs.
Yeah, and she doesn't send one to Hermione.
Mrs. Weasley's so much better of a character in the books because she's like kind of just like a basic like gossip loving woman,
She's
like
kind of a bitch, eh?
Yeah. She hates Fleur Delacour for like no real reason. It seems like her issue with her is like a personality clash. It's like
I think she's got a weird jealousy of a beautiful woman being in her house, and she's like beautiful and like fancy and like kind of high class, like cultured kind of. Plus, I
Right.
think she thinks she's shallow and that she only that she couldn't
Yes.
possibly like Bill. Is it Bill? Yeah,
Yeah.
for any wholesome reason or whatever, which is
Yeah,
weird.
she's
And
like
but she is like super like snooty in the books too, Fleur.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's definitely a like less likable character in the books. Because in the
Also,
movie, she's just like her personality is French.
well,
That's all.
the personality is kind of French in the books too, as in it's like arrogant and kind of looking down on everyone.
Rude.
But it's like amped up a bit
Violent,
more. But also, I kind of thought that like she wasn't really beautiful enough in the movies.
I know, but you can't make someone supernaturally beautiful.
Why
in the
not?
movie. Well, not in like those times, I guess.
What about
But then-
Galadriel?
Huh?
What about
Yeah, I guess
Galadriel?
so.
Yeah.
She's alright. But it was the same thing in Twilight, where like one of the Cullens, her like power is that she's really beautiful, and the movie came out and everyone was like, she's alright. Whatever.
Yeah, you had to be there.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even have the Veela in the movie, do they? They don't talk about them, I don't
Nah. I think there's
think.
probably
She's just, like, really beautiful.
there's like a song and dance kind of thing in the fourth one, like at the cup.
Yeah. But in the book or the movie?
In the movie, I think.
Oh.
Is it?
It's not like talked about though, that like, you know, it doesn't have the boys all being like, oh, go
Yeah.
Granger.
Yeah, I think that's part of the thing that like the boys all go gaga when there's Veela there, including Fleur, and then like,
Yeah.
and Mr. Weasley does too.
Yeah.
And then I think she thinks that Fleur's just using her power on Bill and that it's not real. That's why.
I guess so, but
And that's why all the girls
No.
hate her, because they're like, it's not fair. Like she's just using
Yeah.
her like pull, supernatural pull.
I guess so, but then like logically, that's only an explanation for why he loves her, you know? Like you're
Yeah.
not judging her off her behavior to him, you know?
Yeah, her like but maybe it's like she's just like manipulative and like gets a kick out of controlling people or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. Oh yeah.
Um,
So I also wanted to talk about the occlumency,
Oh yeah.
because that's where that all starts. And actually, you know, like they introduced the pensive thing in the fourth one. And then it actually becomes like a real major device, like out through the whole rest of the books. And then that's kind of like intertwined with this like memory exchange kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the occlumency lessons were cool. I'm just saying in the movie they cut out the whole bit where, you know, Harry sees Mr. Weasley be attacked.
Yeah.
And then Dumbledore immediately sends all the Weasleys in him to. So, do they go to the Burrow first to
No,
go
I
see?
think they go to the 12 Grimmauld place or something.
Yeah, but then they go to St. Mungo's, and that's not in the movie. They like take Harry from Dumbledore's office to Snape's office to start occlumency. Which is weird. But that's sad because that St. Mungo's bit is really cool. I really liked that.
Where they see Neville. Is that where they see Neville?
That is where they see Neville. No.
Maybe it's the
Yes?
next time. They go twice, maybe. Oh no, maybe they just go once.
Because it's Harry's alone when he. No. They all see Neville. Sorry, Harry already knows.
Because they don't go in the sixth one. They don't go anywhere in the sixth one.
No, it must be in the fifth one then. One of the times, I guess. That's where they also see Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah. Lol.
Yeah,
I sent you that meme that was like from the games, Snape and Harry doing the Occlumency lessons, and then he's like Protego, and then it goes in Snape's mind and he's thinking about anime girls. It would have been good, like, if in that kind of moment he had I guess he took all the memories of Lily out, right? And then so that Harry couldn't accidentally see them, but then he also accidentally saw him like flashing his underwear to the whole school.
Embarrassing. Yeah, I guess I wonder then, like you think you might take out just a lot of your memories, but then like what is the limit to memories you take out?
Like it's kind of like a lobotomy or something, like you took out too many.
Just leave like a couple things in.
It could be quite good though, like he could take out all these bitter memories and then not be such a cunt.
Yeah. Yeah, but like how does it work, like if you take those memories out, you must still have a memory of those memories to be able to know that you had them and that you took them out and that they're somewhere, right?
Yeah, well, it's pretty flimsy. I mean, like when Dumbledore explains it in, I think, the fourth one, he's kind of saying like he says it makes it easier to organize them. He doesn't really say that they leave your mind.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'd assumed from that and stuff that it took a copy of your memory, same as like how Slughorn makes that false, like, edited copy of his memory.
And he's still got it. Yeah.
But then the thing with Snape implies that you can take them out, like cut them rather than copy them out.
Maybe it's like it just takes them out of like the forefront of your mind so that you're not like, they're not clouding up your kind of main consciousness, like your mind's eye.
Yeah, right. Then that implies though that just Snape is just all the time reliving his memories with Lily.
Well, he might be when he's with Harry, and maybe that's why he's so bitter about Harry being there, because it's like dredging it up every day.
Man, like, go to therapy.
Yeah, don't they have therapy in the Wizarding world? Or like, can't Madame Pomfrey like help him out or something?
There's gotta be. I mean, the pensive, I don't know. Yeah. Quite a good tool for helping you relive your memories,
Yeah. You could like lay them all out and be like, wow, I'm really obsessing about Lily.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I really see that pattern I've got going on there.
Yeah. I don't know if I said last time, but there's this woman who works at the library with Shinuka, and we were talking with her the other night. It turns out she's really into Harry Potter, which is weird because she's Japanese and she would have been already an adult when they came out, but whatever.
Oh, right.
And she was like, every time I reread them, I'm like, yeah, this is really Snape's story, not Harry's story. And I kind of thought a similar thing, like, it's the real tragedy is kind of Snape's tragedy. Like Harry's lost his parents, whatever, boohoo. But Snape's tragedy is the real, like, actual tragedy. Like his decisions led to his own, like, worst outcome. And no, you couldn't really say that for anyone else in the story. Like Snape's the only person in the story who's got like a full thread going from the past to the future that's actually like entangled with the story. Even more than Harry.
Yeah, because I guess like, yeah, probably true. I do think he could have moved on at some point.
Yeah, but that's a different problem. But he's actually like the kind of like, apart from Dumbledore, he's like kind of the next most major player in that kind of outcome, like deciding the outcomes of a thing. He told Voldemort about the prophecy and shit.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to like meddle with that so that Lily wouldn't get killed and shit. And then he's like there doing this shit with Dumbledore. He's there interfering with Harry and like.
Yeah, he's like constant, because like Sirius is, I think you could almost argue, similar in his like importance in the narrative, but then there's the whole chunk of like 12 years where he's just in prison.
He's not as like influential in the actual world though. Like he didn't actually make any major moves,
Well, I guess that, there was the Order of the Phoenix, but it's also like he's the reason the secret got out of where they are and stuff.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't actually blame him, but I don't know why he ever said choose Peter over me anyway, because that's like
the
just
worst choice possible.
so stupid.
Choose like the Longbottoms or something.
Choose like Dumbledore. James. I know. Be your own secret keeper.
That is weird. Like you're the only person who's gonna have the like, or you're always gonna have the most motivation to keep the secret.
Yes.
You're never gonna give your own secret away.
No, when also they were in like effectively a lockdown sort of thing, right? Where they weren't leaving their house and stuff, or like they weren't leaving Godric's Hollow for sure. So like, who are you even talking to? It just doesn't make any sense. Are you not allowed to be your own secret keeper? No, we've talked about this, haven't we?
No, you are, because Bill is his own secret
Bill's his
keeper.
own.
And then I think whoever's the secret keeper of the other hideout is in that hideout too. I can't remember who it is. It's like Lupin or Arthur or something.
Muriel or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't understand why you'd ever choose anyone else to be your secret keeper then.
Nah, that's dumb.
Stupid.
Also, it's Snape who told Dumbledore that he was after Lily.
Yes.
Like, they didn't know that because they were thought that he was just looking for a boy. But then that's how they found out that, I mean, it's him who found out that Voldemort was targeting the Potters.
Yep. That's true.
So it's actually Severus Snape and the Philosopher's Stone.
He's the only one that heard the prophecy other than Dumbledore.
He's the dark horse of Harry Potter.
It's all him. Yeah, I really enjoy those memes you sent me of the like bad CGI them, like Snape stuff.
The voiced over game ones.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. It does look like the game.
Yeah, they're really funny. And did you go to the page? There's like a whole bunch of them.
Nah, I didn't. I should though.
Yeah, they're so funny. And like the voices are like accurate enough.
Yeah.
Like 1 cajillion points from Gryffindor. That's not even enough.
That one that you sent of the unforgivable curses was so good as well.
What was the last one anyway?
What?
It's like the N word and the C word and something else.
Yeah, I can't remember what the third one is. It's just so good. He's saying them. And Ron's like, oh, Harry, oh. And Hermione's like, Harry, no.
Anyway.
Oh, stupid.
Yeah, I reckon it would have been cool if they like used the Occlumency sessions as like a chance for Harry and Snape to kind of reconcile or something, and then like not have this fucking pantomime about him being like an untrustworthy bad guy for the whole rest of the series.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they could have like bonded a bit. over something.
Yeah, like give Snape a chance.
I know, but also like, you know, the fact that he sees him looking in the pensieve and is just like, fine, fuck you. Like, okay.
It's kind of fair enough.
I guess so, but like, it's not like he saw something really that terrible, you know? And like, if they had been able to like talk about it, Snape would know that, like, I don't know, you know, Harry was kind of like, oh fuck, maybe Snape was right all these years and my dad was a dick.
Yeah.
Could have bonded with that.
Yeah, she doesn't really create opportunities like that in the narrative. Like, she's not like, you know, like she kind of wants there to be a bad guy and a good guy.
Yeah, when she kind of has these things that could be opportunities for change in the character, but then needs the character to remain what they have always been for like the arc of the story, you know?
Yeah, but it's weird because like the arc of the story would be better, I reckon, if they changed. Be more realistic.
Yes.
There's more at stake, you know.
I think so too. But
She just couldn't go there.
Joanne.
Joe, what you doing?
Joe Rowe.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what? And then they go to the ministry that was super unrealistic.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And there's
The
like
whole thing is like, what is it, like a comedy of errors, you know? Like,
yeah.
everything is just far-fetched and stupid.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways to contact Grimmauld Place, you know?
Yeah.
He could have gone to McGonagall and she could have sent her Patronus there.
Yep. He could have gone through the flu network.
Yep.
And ascertained. But I mean, he wanted to believe the vision thing, though.
Yes. Yeah. And like, I understand it, you know, like they'd all been true before, you know, they really had lulled him into that. Like,
Well, and
he
also,
saved Arthur because of exactly that scenario.
yeah, great fuel. But also, like, I think they're also building this like character point that he's got this like obsession with saving people, which then he ends up being called out about by a few people, Snape and Hermione, and then also Voldemort.
Yeah, got a hero complex, eh?
Well, he does though, and I think that's kind of a good thing because it's like, it's good that he's not perfect.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like, you know, it's not like it's a far-fetched thing either, you know?
No. Because everyone's calling him the chosen one and shit.
When his childhood of his parents dying in front of him and then having no one and nothing for so many years, then like to want to protect them all and feel responsible for them all. I get it.
Also, kind of related to them breaking into the ministry and shit. But like, you know, there's this whole thread that like Harry's kind of low ability. Like, he's not particularly high ability as a wizard and shit. But like, then they go to the ministry and like, I mean, Hermione's high ability, and like maybe Luna's probably like high ability, but everyone else is like shit, kind of. But then they're like fighting their way. They get in the first place, but then they're like fighting their way through like established like dark wizards who outnumber them.
Like 20 plus years older than them, you know?
Insane.
I think we already talked about though that I think it was so easy for them to get in on purpose.
Yeah.
Because the defeaters sorted it all out. So that like,
I know, but they get out, bro.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone comes in the end, but even then, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
But it's like also then Harry is like such an amazing wizard and he's so good in those like moments of actual danger that he's the one teaching everyone else how to do it.
Well, he's seen a lot.
Yeah.
He's not actually
But, like at 11, he's having death battles and getting through adults like protections.
But he's not really. Hermione and Ron kind of did a lot of the legwork.
No, I guess he flies his broom. Does he? No.
Yeah, they all fly the brooms.
Yeah, but he seekers the key,
That's
right?
it though. That's not wizarding ability. That's sporting
No, that's
ability.
true. He picks his friends well.
That's good leadership.
Yeah, just delegating.
Though they do end up taking Neville to the Ministry, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, but in the book, he like his arc through the Dumbledore's army is so like sweet, you know, like he tries so hard and he gets way better. And it seems like a lot of his failings is that like nobody put the effort in to like care about his education, you know?
Yeah.
It's sad. And his grandma, who's just so like down on him all the time. Oh.
No, until the fifth one, and then she's like, "Of course, my son broke into the Ministry to fight. I mean, grandson." And then she's like proud of him, and then she's like boasting about him and shit, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a nice turnaround.
She comes to fight with him at the end.
Does she?
In the seventh one.
Yeah, right. I guess just like everyone's there, right?
Yeah, everyone's there. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that Hogwarts battle in the movies always really gets me. It always makes me really emotional.
Oh, really? I don't think I would feel that way.
There's a one bit where you see Greyback like eating lavender. That always really fucks me up, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's fucked up because he's so thirsty for like human flesh the whole time, and then the fact that it's lavender, it's like, fuck. Oh, we should talk about that later.
Yeah. We'll get to all that. Yeah, the fifth one.
It's a long ride.
Such a long book. It's so like, I don't know, it's nice to read books that aren't like taxing at all, you know?
Yeah, totally.
They're such like readable books because they're for children.
Oh yeah. Also, we didn't talk about Grawp, but I don't really have anything to say about him. It's kind of like, oh yeah, Hagrid's just leveling up his crazy obsession with dangerous things.
Yeah. I kind of think it's kind of weird how Hagrid's like so insistent on like civilizing him, you know?
Hagrid.
Yeah. Like there's a whole explanation of how giant culture works and how their society operates and the rules. And yeah, it's like about brute strength and size and stuff, but he's like, no, I'm gonna change his nature.
I could change him.
Yeah.
But he does in the end.
Like me.
Yeah, but in the end he kind of does, you know, like he...
Yeah, he does, because Grawp's at Dumbledore's funeral.
Yeah, and then he fights with them at the end.
Yeah.
And he can kind of talk and shit.
Yeah.
Also, in the movie, because I watched the movies before I started... I watched most of the movies before I started the books. But they take the Umbridge into the forest, you know, at the end when she catches them and then she's like, oh, the secret weapon, and like then it's Grawp or whatever in the movie. It's not like that in the book. It's just the centaurs in the book, I think.
Are you sure? I think Grawp, I don't think they take her to Grawp, but I think Grawp turns up, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, that's how they get away in the end from the centaurs, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Because, yeah, in the book, the centaurs are really like, fuck you, like, we told you not to come in here.
Yeah.
And Hermione made the mistake of saying, like, oh,
well, I thought we could just use you to get rid of this badge.
So stupid. What a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, come on.
Bro.
You're supposed to be the smart guy.
I know, she's supposed to be the, like, empathetic, respectful guy, you know? The woke one.
Yeah, but that's exactly the woke thing, is it's, like, kind of looking down on people, like, white savior kind of thing.
Yeah, when, you know, how can you also aid me in whatever I need to?
Yeah.
Yes, that bit is really satisfying though.
Yeah.
Having Umbridge's worst nightmare of the half humans.
I was kind of disappointed that she's still around in the 7th one, actually.
Yeah, I know. I kind of had hoped it would be like a Gilderoy Lockhart sort of thing where she's like permanently traumatized.
Yeah. It seems that way.
Yeah, and then she's just fine. She gets over it pretty quickly.
Builds it into part of her character. Arrogant character.
Makes it worse, really, doesn't it?
Well, I guess it would.
Yeah. It would have been entertaining to have a scene with both her and Gilderoy Lockhart in St. Mungo's, though.
Lol. That would be, imagine if they got together. That would be so funny.
God, cute.
Like two kind of traumatized, like stunted patients.
Yeah.
They could just like live happily ever after in St. Mungo's.
Oh, cute.
Lockhart could like make up some stories about how he was actually always racist.
Well, when I saw Centaurs,
I've actually got a book about how I don't know. Wizards have to be at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
one where at the end everybody gives the Dursleys a talking to, which I liked.
Is it?
I think so, because after Sirius dies and everyone's like, damn, he's alone now.
Oh yeah, and then they just come and pick him up in this next one, eh?
Yeah. At
Yeah?
the end of the one, I guess so.
What? No, beginning of the 6th one, they come and pick him up, and they.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
yeah,
Dumbledore
yeah.
comes and picks him up.
Yeah. I thought you meant the Dursleys. Yeah, I liked that scene, but yeah, I don't know. Feels like neglectful of all his other authority figures in his life to just have let it go on for so long. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever. There's no one's perfect, so
yeah, but whatever.
Also, the ending is kind of like one of the few moments where you actually get a sense of like loss or like emotion from Harry.
The ending of this one?
Yeah, ending of the 1st one where he's like mourning Sirius and shit.
Yeah, it's really awful. I hate it. I hate how like it's the beginning of the 6th one, but you know, him dealing with Sirius dying, and he's like, yeah, I just had to like get over my emotions so I could continue functioning. And it's like, oh.
He does have to save the world though.
I know, but it's like he doesn't have anyone he can talk to about that anymore, you know?
No.
And like he obviously can't talk to the Dursleys. And I think he talks to like Dumbledore a little bit.
I think Lupin would be the best guy. He kind of gets closer with Lupin after that, I think.
I know, I really feel like the whole, like, I feel like the relationship that was established between Harry and Lupin in the third one was not really ever built on, you know? Like, when he was his teacher and before Sirius was a good guy again.
Yeah.
They really were, like, close, and he was helping him and talking to him about all his shit. And then after that,
It kind of gets
Lupin-
eclipsed by Sirius.
Yeah. But even, you know, you can have two older man figures,
Father
father
figures.
in your life, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit where I can't remember what's just happened, but something bad has happened to Harry, of course, because bad things.
That's what the story's about.
But Lupin, he, you know, sees Lupin again, and Lupin like shakes his hand. Maybe it's at the beginning of the fifth one where they go to pick him up. It's like, fucking hug him, bro. Like, just give him a little hug, you man.
He's got kind of intimacy issues because he's a werewolf, though.
Yes, I know.
You know what? Oh, nah. We'll say that. For next time.
Okay.
The whole Tonks Lupin thing.
Yeah, that's not even the next one.
Whatever.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I think it's nah.
No, it's both.
It starts in the sixth one.
Yeah, because she's
all cut up.
Yeah.
Cool. And that's
on that.
the Thomas Edmonds on Harry Potter. See you next time. Okay, cool. Well, see everyone next time. That was great. That was long. We're gonna talk about the sixth one next time. Hopefully it's not gonna be too long.
Whee! Okay, bye.
Goodbye. Oh, hold on. How do you do it? Here you go.